Hi everybody, my name's Dwayne. I'm 67 years old, been retired 3 years, coming here in October. And the reason I'm making this video is because most of my projects lately have been accomplished by using YouTube and other people's knowledge, and by using YouTube community, and also to thank those who have submitted all of their experience and knowledge there to share with us all. I have 5 children, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. I live in Northeast Ohio. I've been a DIYer only because that's what I've needed to do to get ahead and survive. Plus, I enjoy it. I use YouTube for my auto repair, appliance repair, but the list just goes on, and I do appreciate the community for sharing their knowledge. So the project that I'm starting on is a fence around our pool area, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick video of the parts of the fence that are falling apart, and this is going to be a 2-year project. I ended up building a forge in order to make the pickets from flat stock that was 1 inch wide and 3/16 of an inch thick. And there were actually, I think, 4 different length sizes. As you watch the video, please consider that I have a lot of bad habits when it comes to safety. So don't follow what I do. Do what's safe and right for you and those around you. I'll try to limit it, but please be aware of doing things safely so nobody gets hurt. Thank you. Now, like I said, the project is probably going to take me a total of 2 years to do, or at least 2 summers. And the first parts that I'm going to be attacking are going to be the gated areas to the outside, and try to get it enclosed here before winter. And then you'll see there's a balcony area that needs some work also. Now, it's not as bad because it's a little newer. I actually committed to starting this project April 20th of 2023 when I purchased the metal from a local supplier. Borrowed my brother-in-law's truck, picked it up, and sat in my driveway until I was able to get all the rest of the materials ordered and to make the pickets. Now, I ended up building a forge, building a table for forming the pickets because they have an arch in them and some twists in them. So, but we'll go through that process as we go along. There is a total of approximately 155 feet of fence that is going to be replaced, and 2 gated areas, 2 swinging gates in each area. And we will I'll stop right here and I'll show you the bad areas that we're going to replace hopefully this year, and then we'll go and show you the area that hopefully will be next year's project. Okay, here's the first area that we're going to work on. It's from our backyard into the pool area, and as you can see there, the one gate, the hinge is broken off the bottom. I'm missing some pickets, and it's just getting tired, and you can see some of the womanized treated wood on the back side. Here's the second section that I'm looking to do yet this year. And let me see if I can reach over the tank, or over the little house here. And next to the propane tank is another little section. But then if you go along this end of our pool house, you can see behind those sunflowers up there some more area that's still in fairly good shape, but it does need replaced. It is getting a little weak. And next year's project is going to be that balcony area that is in front of the pool house. So that is all going to be replaced. Now the decking is another matter that's stained and it's flaking, but we're gonna maybe do something with that also. Okay, this is out in my driveway, and when I first started this project, I heated some of the stock up with just a hand torch. Came up with a way to put the twists in the pieces, and then I sized it to one of the lengths that I needed, and I put it up on the laterals, and I asked people's opinions about it, and I got varied opinions, but I knew I wanted to blacken them. So here are some of the finished pickets that I've got done. The first one here is a 48-inch, I believe, long double twist. And oh, I know what this one was something that got too hot, and I don't know that if you can see it or not, but the slag started to flake a little bit, so I started to put one piece in at a time as I was processing it. This longer one right here is one of the cross X braces that I'll be putting in the gates, and there's 8 of those. And then it goes to the longest ones that I have for my taller sections of fence, and the single twist and a double twist. And then the next size, again, double twist, single twist. And then the shortest ones, which I haven't finished yet because I decided that I better start videotaping some of this in order to be able to put it onto YouTube. And over here there are a pile of, I've got 36 left to go out of almost 400. But you can see, now I didn't do anything but put them into the forge and dip them in the dip tank over here to get them to that black color. But I'm going to jump around here again. The forge itself, I had a local machine shop bend the metal up for me. The burners, ordered those off of eBay, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says Devil Force on their vents here. And that valve was purchased from Lowe's. That was just handmade to hold the pipe away from the forge. The propane tank I got from HGR up in Cleveland, but they did all the brakes on the metal for me. I cut the holes in place. The collars came with the burners, and the hose and the regulator came with the burner. And the hinges that I used, and I believe this particular piece came from Amazon. The handles on the side I had bent up just from stock that I had on hand. But when I had them make the steel for the forge, they laser cut in mounting holes for me and holes for the bottom section of the forge to be removed if I ever needed to reline it, because it does have fire brick on the outsides, and I have refractory cement that's troweled on to the inside, and then I have 1-inch removable floors. Now there is fire brick underneath this whole section here with the refractory cement on it, but I wanted to try to protect the floor with those 1-inchers. And what else can I tell you? Oh, the table was an old like cafeteria table that somebody had out by the edge of the road for free, and I shortened it, and you can see the feet are kind of offset so that one side shortened, and here, because they were going to fold into one another, so I made it so that they would fold into each other. But it's just that style table, and I had the same machine shop cut me a piece of metal for the top. And once the forge was all welded together and bolted to the table, it stiffened it up quite a bit. Really haven't tried to pick it up. I don't know what the total weight is. The doors, again, they have fire brick in it and the refractory cement, and I used handles from a chipping hammer, which was an idea from the guy from the machine shop. They still get very hot, but the doors are very convenient during times of, windy days when I'm out here outside, to keep the wind from blowing through. And I don't get the metal, but kind of just red when it comes to forming. Then it comes out of the forge over here, and this is the piece that I made for making my twists, and it is the length of the twist, and on this end right here I made it a slot and flared it in and out, so when I went to shove the piece into it, it would come up here. And for the double twists, I would hit here, twist it, pull it out, grab the other end of it, shove the other end in, twist it again, and then put a little bit of a pre-bend in it, and then take it over here to my form. And you see the arches build into it. I'd set it in place, kind of hold it in with one of the clamps, and I also have stops here for it to set on. But you'll see in the process when I finish these last 36 how that was accomplished by clamp it in place. Then I use this chisel from Harbor Freight with the end rounded out, and get the bend put back in it here so it's nice and straight, and then take it from here, put it back over on the side of the forge, grab the end of it, put it back in to get it hot again, and at the same time I'm putting one in, I'm going to the other end and putting another piece in for the next one to get started, heated up. And then I come back over here, grab the one that's being heated back up, and bring it over to the dip tank, which is a 4-inch heavy wall pipe welded to a plate. And the material that I'm dipping it in actually ends up being a paste when it gets cold. So when I came up with the mixture that I wanted, I used boiled linseed oil, the penetrol, and beeswax. And in order to get it into the tube, I went down to Goodwill, purchased a used skillet for $8, and I would melt the wax in there, and a third, probably maybe though a little less on the beeswax, and liquefied everything, put it in there. Now this is flammable, and it does catch on fire after it does liquefy, and I'm putting in a hot piece, but I just use a snuff rag. I put it right there on the ladder crossbar, and when it catches on fire, I just put it over top of it, and once it's out and the piece is submerged, it doesn't light back up. Now this piece of pipe here is what was cut off when I had the longer pieces. So I did all my longer pieces first, and then I switched over, cut this off, saved when it cooled down all the material. I just cut it off with a wafer blade, 4-inch grinder, 4.5-inch grinder, and I ended up taking the paste out of there and putting it in a bucket and then just reusing it as I needed to. The tongs I purchased off of eBay because I didn't have anything, and I did weld on these extra pieces in order that I would not drop them into the dip tank and then have to fish them out. So those were just put on for safety. The pieces that have, as I made them, I just cut them off with a cutoff saw right here in the driveway. Actually on the ground here you can see a rust mark going out through here. This is where they were stored for the time that I needed before I got everything done. But I would cut the pieces that I needed to length and grind the ends. Then I would drill the holes, and I made this fixture, and I purchased drill bushings from McMaster Car and used my Smithy little machining center that I have to drill the holes in one end. I actually just drill one hole in one end, flip it around and drill the hole in the other end, get a whole batch of them done, and then switch it around and drill the next hole. And then when I was done with that, I would go ahead and I would drill the countersinks into them just using a 3/8 inch bit. And also, before the project ever started, I built this stand, which is filled with concrete, and it has rollers on the bottom that I can fold up and prop up out of the way on both sides so that it's can be movable or it can be stationary and down on the floor. But I also made it so that I could put on a vise and a anvil, a railroad tie anvil that my mother-in-law purchased for me for Christmas. But it's convenient because I can roll it out here on the driveway if I need it for anything. And also, all of the tools and everything that I have, the forge, the bench with the form on it, has a grinder on it also, and my tools I can transport out onto the driveway and back into the garage using this hydraulic table cart. Very convenient. On the forge, I use those blocks on top of the table, lift it up hydraulically and roll it in and out of the garage as needed. Takes me about 30 minutes to get everything set up in the morning, and I can usually get 40 to 50, maybe even 60 done at a time. But I take them from the dip tank, lean them up against the retaining wall over there. You can see across the top of it where it has that coating on it, and I let them drip on that old sheet, and you can see the material that is collected there at the bottom. Okay, here I am back in the garage sitting on my lawnmower with my Smithy in the background. That's the machine I use to drill all the holes. And what I'm going to attempt to do, is throw some pictures in throughout the videos of the forge during its assembly process, to maybe allow you to see some of the forge assembly process. But also I'm going to attempt to throw links in for the fire brick, the burner assemblies, hinges, and so on, so forth, that I ended up purchasing for building that forge. Okay, I hope this hasn't been too boring for you. It's been kind of an introductory video, and things should spice up here in future videos, and a little more informative, I hope. And I really appreciate you watching this, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much, and see you later. I also wanted to thank LumaFusion for the ease of editing this video. I never expected it to go so well, but thanks for everything and making it so easy.